These are the restricted lots 350, 450, and 550 series of lot numbers for the December 12th, 2020 Wards and Bud Haynes Firearms Auction. Little visual walkthrough. This is not to show you details so much as the imagery and the description is, but we do end up picking up on a few little extras as we do these videos. 350A is a Ruger Standard. There's no finish on it. I don't know if it was supposed to be, it looks like it was supposed to be blue and it is all gone. And I don't have an explanation as to that. So take that for what it is. We'll cycle it a bit. As discussed before in each video, we do safety check these before we fire up the camera. Make sure that they're all empty. Safety off. Magazine. So what you see is what you get, but there's no finish left on it. Seems to cycle nicely, and again, that's without putting any ammunition in it. 350 Bravo. It has a magazine as well. It's a Norinco NP18. Slide lock works. It's a double action, single action. It's got a pretty heavy double action. I'm not even sure if that actually double actioned, did it? Try to go, oh yeah. Well, it didn't think it was going all the way back, so. Yeah, no safety. Is it a decocking safety? No, it's supposed to be a safety, and it doesn't seem to work. Or maybe it's only supposed to be, yeah. Okay, you know what? I'll show you my ignorance again. It's only supposed to be if the hammer is down. Too many years with the 1911. Seems to cycle quite nicely though. In fact, you know, judging by the bluing, almost all intact, it probably doesn't have that many miles on it really. That's a term I promised myself I wouldn't use. 350 Charlie, Smith & Wesson 629-1, stainless steel. It's a 212 millimeters. I think that's like 7 inches or whatever. Visible cylinder ring, but there's no reason to think that this has any high miles on it. Indexing and lockup it's just, these things don't typically get a lot of use. And when you see the box and it's almost in, you know, not mint condition, but the box is in very good condition, then there's no reason to think that that there's been any real use on it. Got the wood grips on it, factory grips, but again, we're not here to talk about that, just the mechanics of it. So no issues there. Delta, single action, this is a Cimarron. So a remake of the old ones, but they're fun. This is in 38 Colt and Smith and Special. I say that because that's what it's labeled on the side, and the FRT doesn't separate from one from the other. It's got, you know, the tiniest little cylinder ring on it. It has not had a lot of use. There's not a whole lot. There's a little bit of evidence of being used there, but there's no. You know, it's going to be as if you were buying one of these virtually new. That's the condition that you're buying this one in. Very little use on it. So the indexing and all the rest of it is going to be just fine. 350 Echo is an older one though, of course. So on the Colt 1873, so it does have some miles on it. Be a little bit more gentle on it. But it is indexing quite nicely, locking up quite nicely. You can hear the positive indexing and locking. So pretty decent. Let's do the trigger just a couple times. Quite nice. The gate is solid. It's not falling out. Extractor rod. Again, it's got nice positive action to it. And so I think that's a pretty decent little piece. I don't know much of the history. I don't remember where it came from. But it definitely seems to cycle quite nicely. Foxtrot on the Lalama. I do know where this one came from. This one was from, in the summertime, from the Mueller estate. And the reason that it wasn't in that sale is that we couldn't find it registered. And that's because he had never registered it, re-registered it from the old green sheets. And so it ended up being effectively not registered. Indexing is quite nice, lockup is quite nice. I'm led to believe that, I don't think I'm speaking out of school when I say, I don't think it was a secret, that this was like Lindsay's first, you know, or one of his first handguns, and so it was in the old green sheet system. Just, you know, just an oversight that he didn't re-register it, because he definitely had his I's dotted for the most part. Mechanically, and these are not a high-end gun, but this one feels like it's in very good condition. Everything seems to be working quite nicely. Everything goes together nicely. Again, they're not a high-end piece, so I think you're not going to find one better mechanically than that one. On the H&K, double action, single action, and it's got not a lot of use to it, so you're not going to find any reason to think that this would be much or any different than virtually buying off the shelf retail. So they're kind of neat. They're different in the way that they're the mag release is kind of ambidextrous. Goes on both sides there at the bottom of the trigger guard, but mechanically, it's new. It's basically new. On the Beretta with the box is a bit tired, and it does come, and again, we're not supposed to be talking about that. I keep getting distracted. It has a little manual in there. So the box is a little bit tired, but it does exist. And a little 22 LR. Really smooth feeling. Oop, let me get my glove caught in there. Flows like butter. I'm gonna do the trigger a few times, not a bunch. Get criticized for that even as it is. So very nice. Slide release, or the mag comes out smoothly. It's got a little finger rest on it. And so the pictures will show you the condition. The same purple coloring tone that we see on the Berettas. We see it on a semi-regular basis. I'm not even sure what that's all about, but it's kind of neat, kind of different. So mechanically, I think this is awesome. And again, just the caveat to that is, we're not shooting it, we're not putting ammo in it, we don't really know how it's cycling and ejecting and all the rest of it. You understand that. More so for the newbies that might be, throw me under the bus for saying, hey, how come that didn't happen? Well, let's stick with the 350s. 350 Juliet on the little Colt 22. Little target gun, heavy barrel, bull barrel, stainless finish. Pretty well new condition. I'll cycle it once or twice. So very nice. I'm not going to pull the trigger any more times than that. Slide lock does work. And comes with 2 magazines. I think they're both Colt branded. So it's Colt branded on the bottom. Can I say buy with confidence again one more time? It just seems to me like this would be no different than if you were buying off a retail shelf. Other than it's got a little bit of marks from being handled. There's really not much else to talk about on that one. On the Irma 22, sort of the would-be Luger, locks in place, pop the slide out. I'm going to pull the trigger a couple times maybe. So rather than talking over it, I'll just shut up so you can hear it. So yeah, virtually unused. You know, if there was lots of handling marks on it and operation marks, you would expect there to be, you know, maybe some issues. It is missing the front sight. That's more of a description and photo issue though. But mechanically it seems good. I don't know if you'd be able to find one easily, but certainly it would be an easy make for you if you're a startup gunsmith or you have a handy guy, so I think you're okay there. 450A King Cobra, we're in the 450 series. There's a bit of a cylinder ring there, stainless finish. We'll go through it. Good positive lockup. Indexing, so that part of it is awesome sauce, as it were. No worries there. You can see that there's been a little bit of use. That's been cleaned up after being fired. The only thing that might be by way of a caveat is this cylinder lock, cylinder release. Mostly is good. I think it just needs a little cleaning. See how sometimes see now it's making a liar out of me because it's working perfectly. Every now and again it just, there we go, a little sluggish, going back into place. So, but really that's, I would suggest a almost a non-issue, but I just want to draw it to your attention. So that's the point of the video. 450 Bravo, another Lalama. 45 ACP. Slide lock works. Everything, it feels very smooth, it locks up nicely. This has got a fold down sight, and I assume, and again, somebody might know better than me, and it is adjustable when it's in the up position. The two screws that make it for adjustment, when you come up on sight with the sight folded, it is kind of in the same height as that front sight, as a sort of a battle sight. They're not accurate by any means because there's quite a gap in there, but as a battle sight, close range battle sight, and then of course the idea being, if you were drawing it out of a holster or out of a jacket in a real world situation, then that sight could be folded down so as to not catch anything, or it might even be left folded down in that situation, and you only use it when you're trying to do something a little bit more long range. I'm only speculating. I thought it was a neat feature anyway though, and complete and solid. So I think you could buy that one with confidence as well. It feels very good. It comes with a magazine. No real finish issues to talk about, to make it think like it's got lots of wear. A little bit of wear on the handling areas, but I think I would call that minor, and mechanically it seems to be quite nice. Safety works. Yeah, I do like that one. I'm smitten with that one, if you will. 450 Charlie on the Colt Woodsman. Elevation adjustable, windage adjustable, so adjustable rear sight. Wear is as you would expect, slide lock works. Let's cycle a couple times. Seems to cycle consistently, and the safety worked. I did do that one once. It's weird having, or it's not weird, it's just that it's the, if I was left-handed, it would be slightly easier to do the video. So that's the safety on, and it's not working, and the trigger's not operating, so no worries there. Quite a nice little piece. Another one in the sale, 450 Delta, that has the Haynes tag on it from the Great West Inn in Red Deer from way back when. I'd like to go back on their sale numbers, because that sale number, I think the first number there in the lot number 74 is the sale number. So we'd probably be able to look it up in the ledger to see what year that was, which would be kind of fun. So this one here on the new service, it definitely has, I would think, the mechanical removal of finish maybe. I could be dreaming, maybe it's natural, but it does seem pretty aggressive, but it cycles nicely. Lockup is as good as they ever are, really, my opinion. Opens up, ejects, doesn't rotate like a racehorse, but I don't think it's supposed to. Whoops, and I just unscrewed the little knob. That's graceful. And it looks like a replacement knob. And that may well, that's probably in the description. I don't think that that's factory. I think I would have caught that. But again, that was ages ago. I don't always remember as we go along. So, but a decent little project piece, or just leave it the way it is. I think I try to find the proper knob for it. On 450 Echo, another one, probably from the same consignment or estate. I don't know if it's a living situation or not. I don't remember where they came from. But again, the old Great West Inn Red Deer tag on this one. Let's cycle through. I'm kind of hoping that you can tell from the body language what sort of, you know, requirements my finger is doing to make the triggers go, that you can tell if it's smooth or not. I know it's a bit sketch to think that you're going to get a real representation without having it in your own hand, but it's just not an option. Whether you're, yeah, there's a more so like something that the handle should look like, or the end should look like, the knob. Nice extraction, decent little piece. I definitely would be proud to own that one. On Foxtrot, we not only have this is even earlier, if I'm right, if it's 64 is the sale number, I don't remember. It's still Great West Inn. We also have another one, and if you've been paying attention to the wholesale, this sale we're having, this is another one of those RCMP tags, and so it gives a bit of a description here. It doesn't say any reason why they have it. It just says that they have it. RCMP Laboratories, August 21st, 1987, exhibit number 1, and a case number. So again, I don't know why they had it. I just thought it was kind of neat to leave that tag on there. And this one's not in new condition. Frontier Army is quite visible on the top. It almost looks like it's double stamped though, but you'll see that better in the pictures. Let's play with the action a little bit and see what we think. Trigger doesn't come back. We got to help it along. It's trying to operate though. Let me cycle the trigger back first manually, as you noticed. That's the point I'm trying to make there. It does cycle the cylinder when you do reset. And a very hair trigger on a single action once you've sort of done that. Once you've set it sort of thing. But double action is trying to work. Single action will try to work too and cycle the cylinder along as well. Let's see what the lockup would be like if it was. It's pretty decent. So it needs to come apart, find out what's going on, either make a new trigger, or a new spring, or maybe it's just disconnected. You never really get as lucky as that though, as a rule. But it indexes, and it single action, and double action, and the loading gate is, you know, it snaps into place, snaps out of place. And so a decent piece there, but I did notice that this was a bit, just sort of falls out of place there. So it's maybe a little bit loose. I don't think you'd, truthfully, looking at it, you're not going to find, there's no surprises in what I just told you. In fact, you're probably more surprised that it cycles as well as it does. You're probably thinking that's better than I expected. So I hope you are, because I think I just surprised myself a little bit. Not that I wasn't already familiar, because I did catalog it and I handled it then, but you forget. This one's got a bit of an issue as well, so we're not caulking properly. Let's see what happens. Oh, this has got the folding hammer. That one's kind of neat. I don't actually know the whole purpose behind it, if it's just for sleekness, and then if you need to caulk it, you can unfold it. It's not my area of expertise, this particular one. So we are cycling through. It doesn't single action caulk, assuming it's supposed to. And again, so you know, I have more experience with some than others. A little loose on the lock up there, as you can see. No more than I would expect. Well, that one's extra more than I would expect, and that one didn't lock up at all. So it needs a little bit of love, but looks to be mostly complete. The loading gate stays open and stays closed as required. And so I think you're mostly complete, but you are going to need give it some love in the trigger area. On the end field, I believe this one is quite nice. These are, of course, a fairly crude mechanical piece anyway. But that feels very, very nice. Feels exactly what you would want it to feel like. It doesn't have a spur. Let's open it. Let's see how we can eject. Works quite nicely. Cylinder rotates quite nicely. Again, we'll do a few more, and I'll just show the lockup at each position. Yeah, very nice. Very good representation. So I don't think you're going to have any surprises on that one. Another hand eject, Smith & Wesson hand eject. This one is in 38s. This has got the really thick walls. Look at this is a really heavy duty firearm, and in fact, do they call it heavy? They call it heavy, the 44 heavy duty, even though it's in 38. But look at the thickness of the walls in that one. You could make this into a 44, which may be partly why they give it that name. Mechanically, I don't think we're going to have any surprises if I remember. Indexing is good. Trigger feels good. We already showed us opening it up and ejection. It's an interesting piece. Those big thick walls, you can put in some, and it's not even 357 Magnum, it's 38 Special with those big huge thick walls. That's a bit of a waste of metal. The thing will last forever. On the Kilo Charter Arms, this is a 5-shot 357 Magnum. Real slick. This is a real nice, fun little, more modern piece. That has a weird feeling trigger, but I think it's supposed to be that way. It almost feels like it goes to sort of a cam where it has an easy and a stiffer part. But I think that's a function of the design. I don't think there's any issues with it, because you even feel it when you're cocking it to single action. It has a distinct feel and sound to it. Lockup is good. Like I don't think you're going to find any surprises on this piece, and extraction is good. It's a 5-shot. I don't know a lot about them. Newer piece, satin finish, presumably stainless, and I think you could consider this to be a low use piece as well. That's it for the key, the 450s. Now we go into 550 Alpha. There's actually like 5 magazines that come with this one, 5 or 6 magazines. This is 380 in the 380 caliber, 1911 style, and low use, I'm pretty sure. It just fits so nice. Like, this is a really, cute little, fun little, I don't know if they call it the lady pistol. Is that sexist? I don't know, probably. But I don't think it's had a lot of use. So slide lock works. Probably does not have a, oh, it does have a safety for having a magazine in. But I don't think you're going to find any reason to think that there's any mechanical issues with this one. Let's check the grip safety. That worked fine. And cycling is, as you can tell, there's no issues with that. And like I said, it comes with 4 or 5 or at least 5 magazines anyway. That part's in your description. 550 Bravo. Got a kind of a bull barrels on the rib barrel, the Dan Wesson. 15.2, this is a 357 Magnum. Let's do some cycling. Very smooth. Single and double action, very smooth. Indexing and lockup, pretty decent. It's consistent, and I think you'd be good to own that one for sure. It feels very nice. It's actually a surprisingly short throw when you double action. You wouldn't be able to tell from the video, I don't think, but when you're feeling it, it just feels like it's a short throw. 550 Charlie is another 22, so this is a 617-6 model. So it's 10 shots in there, which makes perfect sense because there's just so low a pressure and such a big cylinder compared to the 6-shot, which is what I have, that it's silly not to have. And it's fun it's kind of neat to see the amount of flutes. When you got 10 flutes on there, it's a busy little cylinder. And I don't want to overshoot it with it being a rim fire, but I am going to do a couple. And it's such a short indexing because there's 10 shots in it. So mechanically, it's a busy little action in there. And I'll do a couple of double actions. There's no reason to think that there's anything to worry about on this one mechanically. In fact, it's got, I'm sure, very, very low usage. And from the same consignor, if I'm not mistaken, they both have the blue cases. They're newer. This is the M&P 9 standard length, I think this one is. 108 millimeter. Yeah, this is standard, but it still has the rail for mounting a laser or an optic, or a flashlight. So a couple of little bits of handling marks, but as far as mechanics go, it's got no surprises at all. Magazine must be inside the case. 2 magazines and the back straps and whatnot. This version does say, and it even says, caution, capable of firing with magazine removed. And so I mentioned earlier in one of the other videos for the M&P that I have one of the M&P and I put the Apex trigger in, and I thought it was a very worthwhile upgrade. You don't need to. I'm just saying that if you want to crisp it up just a little bit, I thought it was a good use. So no reason to think there's any issues with this one. This is virtually new, like you're buying off the shelf, except for a little bit of handling marks on it. It's probably only had a few hundred rounds to it. It usually happens that way. So that is the end of the restricteds for the December 12th sale, and but we still have lots more to shoot. I don't even know what order you're seeing these on the website. We started a brand new YouTube channel that's gonna be just for firearms, so there's almost no subscribers to it. So we just started from scratch and see what we can do with that. So my name is Brad Ward. I appreciate you watching. If you did watch all the way through, our office is 780-451-4549, and the website is wardsauctions.com. Thanks.